you got the chance to cop off with Martin Short in Inherent Vice. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing very, very well. I mean, I'm assuming it's a lot warmer and sunnier where you are because it's miserable here.
It's it's humid and it's like a little misty cloudy in New York, but it's all right.
Thank you for not showing off because most people I talk to on these are like, oh, it's too hot, if anything. That's why you're my favourite already.
I love that. I appreciate that. I'm glad.
The image of you, at this point, you're probably the best person in Hollywood to play identical twins. Like, let's face it. Say I were to be introduced to your brand new identical twin, to Sasha's identical twin, what's her, and by which I mean your bad habit or pet peeve that I should really look out for when meeting her?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I mean, I feel like my twin would probably be even like less productive than I am. I mean, I feel like I just I'm as organized as I can be, but I just feel like I procrastinate like crazy. And I don't think if I had a twin, she would be able to keep that in check. I barely do.
But you made it to the Zoom call.
I did make it to the Zoom call, but you know why? That's because there's like 10 other people involved.
Oh, I've had the exact same emails as well. Be there or else.
Yeah, I'm organized really well with some things, other things.
You're very lucky because in this film you get to play, the very cute and trusting Anna, but as well as the not so cute, the not so trusting Zoe.
Yeah.
Out of the two of them, what was more fun? Is it being like the lovey-dovey scenes where you get to do like take after take with free ice cream, or is it getting to embrace the inner psycho mode?
Psycho is so much more fun. It's so much more fun to be bad. I think it's just because, hopefully anyway, it's different from you. You know what I mean? Like it's something that is just like, I would never say that. I would never do that. And so to kind of just have a free pass and to do it is very interesting. And Zoe in general is just, there's so many things that she does that are just so fun. The lines that she has, but Anna is sweet and soft and her clothes were much more comfortable. The ice cream thing, I will say, was shit because that ice cream was not real ice cream. It was like this weird, I don't even know what type of texture. It was like, you know what? It was like really old cookie dough that was just inedible. It was disgusting.
I'm genuinely heartbroken.
Yeah, it's movie magic. It's to make sure that it like looks right and doesn't melt and all sorts of, but like eating it is not, it's not great. If you ever speak to Parker about it, he will tell you the same thing.
You could tell me like Avatar. You could say all the blue people aren't real. I go, yeah, no, fine, whatever. This is like actually crushed my soul.
Ice cream. It's like that. Is it cake? You're like, what do you mean? That's ice cream.
I mean, as you said, you do get to go very sort of intense in this film. At what point are you going to let Hendrix start watching your movies, or is that just off the cards?
I don't want him to ever watch this movie. I've told my brother-in-laws to not watch this movie. There's certain things where you're like, I don't need them to see me that way. But I think what happens is, friends end up watching it. So like Hendrix's friends might watch this one day and be like, your mom. And I'm going to be like, don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. Don't watch it. But there's other things that I've been in that he can watch. But it's a weird dance between like, okay, I'm a mom now. That's really funny. Still my own person, still having so much fun with these roles, but there's, in the back of your mind, you're like, that's an interesting choice, but I think it'll be fine.
I think he might be the luckiest kid in the world because you've just given him a free pass to watch Sharkboy and Lavagirl over and over again now.
I mean, that's fine. I'll settle on that. It was a very cute movie, but it was also terrible in its own ways. That's so mean to say, but like, it's had a resurgence, which is great, but there were some issues, but it's okay. It's special to me. It's special to me. It's close to my heart for sure, but yeah.
And there was no god awful ice cream on it either, so win-win.
Very much a win-win. There was just CGI ice cream instead.
The image of you is obviously based on the novel by Adele Parks. I say at this point, let's bankroll another film starring yourself. I'll put all the money towards it. Out of all of the books, comics, graphic novels, anything in the whole wide world, what would you like to adapt next and star in?
That is such a hard question. Okay, first of all, I wish I read more. That's like the first issue with this is that I buy books and then I never read them. They end up being really cute on my bookshelf, and I just don't. Okay, so you're gonna have to give me a second. I feel like the things that I would do are like already adapted. I would like to do another Eat, Pray, Love,
Nice.
mainly because I would love to go to all those places, and it would be really fun to film in those places. But just in general, I think out of all the books that are like that, I never really got into any of them except for that one. I think it was just like at the time of my life that I was reading it that I was like, I'm obsessed with this, and then super excited when the movie came out. But I feel like it'd be really fun to do that over.
I'm so pleased you said a book that I've heard of as well. I was worried you was going to go off piece, and I just have to go, oh, that sounds like an interesting thing.
I should have just made up a title and nobody would have ever known. They'd be like, "Ooh, I gotta, oh, wow."
She's so well read. Wow. With something like this, like The Image of You, it was a huge book already with obviously lots of fans. Is that more nerve-wracking taking on a project like that that already has a big fan base as opposed to crafting your own thing?
Absolutely. As they should be, fans are very, very passionate about things that they love. And so, yes, there's pressure. We face that with PLL too. But I think ultimately you still want to make it unique. You still want to make something that, people aren't going to necessarily expect. If they love the book, it'd be kind of boring if it was exactly the same. And so to have a little, twist and turn in there, for us, it's a different ending. There are a lot of different tweaks, even just the fact that it's set in the US instead. There's different flavors. And so I really hope that if you love the book, you'll love the movie. It was so fun to make. But yeah, adapting something is a bit scary.
We've mentioned some of your iconic roles already. We can add this to that long roster, but there's one role of yours I want to bring up because you got the chance to cop off with Martin Short in Inherent Vice. I mean, if I'm being honest, I've never been more jealous of someone in my whole life.
He's fabulous.
What was that whole experience like working with the legend that is Martin Short?
If I'm going to name, obviously I love the movie that I just shot, but if I'm going to name anything in my career, that movie was absolutely hands down my favorite thing. And for many reasons, but playing opposite Joaquin and Martin is like incredible. And everything about that day, because it was my first day on set, everything about that day was like shocking. Paul Thomas Anderson was just sitting on the carpet barefoot when I walked in, just like the coolest dude on the planet. I was so nervous. Martin and I are like in our scene itself, we didn't have any contact, which was weird. The way that it was written was kind of like they're lovers and they haven't seen each other in a long time. Like, why wouldn't they connect? And so, the way that they shoot is so different. And I'm coming from a show that was always planned and you do everything a certain way, like by the scripts. And naturally, we just kind of got together on the first take. And it was like, okay, well, that felt right. That is what should have happened, from the script until like on camera. It's like, no, that makes sense. That is what should happen. But yeah, a little surprising, of course, little shocking. I was like the same, or I was younger than his like youngest daughter or something. And we were just kind of like, well, you just, you roll with it. But such a fun character to play. Like distinctly this memory as well, where it was like 4 a.m. I was like pretending to be cracked out in the car driving. And we got the giggles. And at one point, Joaquin like fell onto my lap, like crying, laughing so hard. There was like snot on my jacket. And I'm just like, when would I ever experience this again? Never. So fun. I almost ran over Paul. He was like on the hood of the car and it was like this old 60s manual Mercedes. And we all kept telling him, don't do it. It lurches forward when we put it into gear, and he didn't listen. And I almost like hurt him and the camera. That it was such a unique experience, but so fun. And just an honor to work with all of them. Incredible. Such a good experience.
I think you single-handedly have the best story that anyone ever has ever had. I'm living vicariously through you.
It was so fun. I mean, I didn't have one bad experience. I mean, it was like those pinch me moments where you're just, yeah, it's incredible.
I mean, Paul might have not said it's so fun after you nearly ran him over, but it was fun for you at least.
I mean, we all laughed. You know, we all had a good time about it. It didn't happen again. He didn't get on the hood again. But other than that, yeah, just so fun. And Maya Rudolph, his wife, I mean, obviously she stands alone, just Maya, but like I didn't like their connection is so cute and so beautiful. And she had a basic, you know, she was pregnant on set, and it was just so crazy. Everything about it was just so wild, and I loved it.
What are you doing tomorrow? Should me, you, Maya Rudolph, all the guys go out for dinner?
I think we can arrange that.
Well, they're not replying to any of my text messages, so it might have to be you.
Sounds good. We'll correspond after this.
Well, thank you so much for chatting to me, and enjoy the rest of your press day.
Appreciate that. Bye.